I'm Koger, and welcome to Every Day is Wisdom, where every day we co-create with the universe an amazing life in the areas of health, finances, and relationships. Today, I would like to welcome to the show, I'm really excited, he's a man who I feel like epitomizes something he likes to call magnetic distinction, which we'll talk more about. But Tshombe Brown is a spiritual business coach, and he's with Signature Coaching and Consulting Group. He specializes in empowering healers, body workers, and yoga instructors. So welcome, Tshombe.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be with you, Bren, and all your fabulous peeps. I don't know if you call them peeps, but I call them
I'm
peeps.
going to start calling them peeps. That's going to be my new term for my audience.
Yeah, peeps aren't just for Easter anymore.
I just got a flash of those purple and yellow.
I know.
Beautiful colors.
Right.
Now, I gave kind of a short description on purpose of what you do as a spiritual business coach, Tshombe, because as you say, those kind of terms can mean different things to different people. And so if you wouldn't mind describing to me what maybe some of your closest friends, how they would describe you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a great question. And I think that, well, two words come to mind, that love and laughter. And so if I were to sum myself up in those in succinct words, I think unconditional love and unbridled laughter, right, would be my signature, my signature, what do you call it, description. Thank you for asking that question.
Oh.
And now I want to go ask them.
Right.
Love and laughter, would that be defined, Tshombe? I think so.
Yes, that's perfect. Well, you have succeeded in every area of your life. If you know that's the case. I can believe that definitely by your energy and your spirit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
and I just want to offer that that's come up like in what I do. So Selling with Spirit is the name of my website and my business, sellingwithspirit.com. And I think of that in two terms, like spirit is like spiritual. We're connected to a higher power, right? And also it's spirited, joyful, fun. And so the laughter part comes in as well, right? I think the what someone said that the closest, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the closest space between two people is laughter, right? Or it's such a wonderful thing that connects us right away.
Yes, definitely. And I'm in an intenders circle, an intenders group. We meet every week, and we used to intend more for specific things, which is fine, or things that we were wanting. And as we've met as a group over the last couple of years, it's come down to some of our intentions for what we want for our life are joy, laughter, fun, and because it kind of all boils down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes we're caught up into things, and those are great, but really sometimes they obscure what we're really after, and so then we're attached to how something has to happen. And if we step back and say, oh, what the core thing I want is joy, then we don't have to be attached to how that manifests. It's so great. We can be in the flow of whatever's bringing us joy, and it may be that thing, right? But then we're not disappointed. We're always disappointed if we're attached to a person, a thing, an idea, a job, a concept. But when we realize that what we're really after, like this is so great, today I intend to feel joy, no matter what. Joy is so whatever we're at, we just come back to that touchstone. So I love that that's what you have evolved, the group has evolved to kind of really be intentional about what they really want. That's great.
Yeah, because the universe are, however you believe that things come your way and taking action steps, there's many ways it can come about. And, so say you're intending for something in a relationship area, and if you tend to have some real specific things in mind, that's fine, but there's so many possibilities of a way that feeling that you're going for with a relationship can come to you. So
yeah, it's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, one of the ladies in my intenders circle knows you and knows your work, and she's so excited to be able to see this interview. And so you have a following. And
I have a fan. Hello.
And she wanted me to ask you, and I already know this because I listened to your interview with Therese Skelly, but she was curious about the origin of your name, and I know people ask you that all the time. I just think I think it's really cool.
Yeah, Tshombe was an African revolutionist in the Congo. All of us kids have African names, and I used to think, I don't know that I live up to that. I'm not a revolutionary, but I am, right, in my life. And it's a great kind of topic for conversation. It was his last name. It probably has a meaning, but I haven't. Someone said Tshombe means he who walks like a lion. And I don't know, but I don't know that I walk like a lion, but
that's awesome.
But it is great. His name was Moise Tshombe, and mine's Tshombe. No, my last name is Brown, but I scarcely use it. So and it's great. It fits me. Tshombe, the revolutionary.
It does. It's just such a great name to say. I love saying it.
It's musical, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, and thanks for the question.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just kind of curious about your typical day and what you do. I know you specialize as a business coach in working with yoga instructors and healers and body workers, but maybe just talk about what your typical day is like, and what your favorite things about what you do with your work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so as an entrepreneur, I don't really have a typical day, but working with healers and body workers, yoga teachers, really around selling and reframing selling from something that feels manipulative to something that feels joyful and fun and is just as healing as their healing modality that they employ, right? And that's a whole paradigm shift, because we do think of selling as something we do to someone as opposed to something we do for them. I like to call selling coaching, that selling is coaching, helping other people get what they want. And that's a whole nother way to approach it, right? And of course, with anything we do, there's an inner and outer approach. And so we work primarily, first and continually, with this kind of reframe of what selling really can be for you, and also the kind of outer actions that, do you have kind of like a system? Are you kind of following up with people so that they know who you are? And then this concept that you talked about at the start when you introduced me, magnetic distinction, it's so getting really clear on how you are your perfect client's obvious choice. And how's that? Well, that's by bringing all of you to your marketing and your selling, because that's really what sets you apart. I really hate kind of to say sets you apart, because we're all, as we know, connected and united, and yet each one of us are unique expressions of God. And when we're busy trying to be like everybody else instead of our unique expression, then our clients can't tell whether we're for them or for somebody that they know. And so getting clear on that piece and then incorporating that in your messaging makes all the difference in the world. And then it's easy, it's fun, you're being yourself, right? But the challenge is sometimes we don't remember who we are. We're so right, or we're embarrassed. And one
Yeah.
of the things that I say, for people who are concerned about, I don't know what's different, or I don't know what is distinct about me, or there's nothing that's valuable about me that I can highlight. Well, a, a key kind of place to kind of look for the inquiry is where some place that maybe you're embarrassed or ashamed of yourself. That might seem really weird, because why would we want to highlight something we're embarrassed about? Well, that's the thing that people love about you. Like, for example, my laugh and my big smile that takes up my whole face. I wasn't always, proud of that. Or how I flail. I mean, you're so wonderful. You're so like poised and beautiful and calm and just amazing. And I'm like, all over the place.
I love it. I love it. Did it ever get you in trouble, Tshombe?
Always. Oh. Well, I certainly had to. I mean, there are social situations where you probably should not be flailing, and so so I do have like some places where I'm restrained. But when I'm working with a client, like here I am running with my mouth. Just stop me anytime.
No, this is great. I love it.
I was working with a EFT practitioner, and one of her ideas, and for people who don't know what that is, it's emotional freedom technique. It's akin to acupuncture, but without any needles, and it releases, all kinds of emotional. In fact, you could say that any ailment in the body has an emotional component. And so anyway, she's an EFT practitioner, and one of the things, and she's just blossomed into her own, because she got rid of the idea that she had to portray a certain, quote, professional image that was unnatural to her, as opposed to who she really was. So when we went through some various exercises that we go through about, finding out your magnetic distinction, and now I looked at her website. We completed our time together, and then she's done other work, and then I type up her website, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like her. You know what I mean? Is expressed just on this living on the website, because she got rid of who she was supposed to be and embraced who she was.
Like
her magnetic distinction.
Someone else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even know it. It's like we've adopted what our mother or father, or we went to school, or maybe our religious upbringing that has either put this on us, or we interpreted that that's how they wanted us to be. And so here we are with these masks upon layers and layers of masks. And then all our work to do on earth is just unpeeling until there's nothing left.
Yes.
That's it. If you want to know your purpose, we're running around trying to find our purpose. It's to unpeel the layers one by one until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
And when there's nothing left, everything's there.
Yeah. I remember, I'm just getting this flash of, I have a home movie, like a video of myself when I was a small, like 3 or 4, and I'm sitting next to my older sister, and I'm all over the place. I'm jumping around, and we have these little puppies, and she's looking at me like, she doesn't want me to be jumping around and getting, so close to her. And
yeah.
And when you said that, I got this flash of, when you're younger, you have this natural, just ability to be yourself and do what you go for your joy. And like you said, when things get layered on over time, our job is just to take that back off.
Yeah, it's so great. I'm glad you got that. It's so awesome.
and just related to what I'm doing, with interviewing and doing some stuff that we're doing online, and just being able to be authentic with it, and just being able to speak in my own voice, and that's something that I'm definitely working toward, because I heard Therese Skelly's interview with you, and it's just, being able to still keep yourself in the interview, and and admire other people's qualities and things like that. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You have people that have influenced you in a positive way, and then kind of keeping your own uniqueness about what you do at the same time, saying, wow, that's really cool what they're doing too.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Well, just to speak to what you're talking about, magnetic distinction is who you are and how you're perceived by others when you're fully self-expressed. So that's what you were talking about, that when we're kids, that we aren't concerned really about judgment or how we look. We're just being joy in that moment and following that. And so our work and the work that I work on sales and marketing, right? And it's their business that I'm working on. But really, it's all about that piece of how to get back to being fully self-expressed. And then the rest of this other piece becomes easy. Of course, there's innumerable ways to market and sell yourself, but when we pick what fits who you are when you're fully self-expressed. So someone who's me when I'm fully self-expressed is this kind of bigness, right? Or laughing and silliness, or big smile, right? For someone else, their being fully self-expressed might be contemplative. And so it looks weird if they're like trying to laugh, crazy, or have this big old smile. It doesn't resonate as authentic. So this is what we're talking about. People use the word authenticity, it's kind of overused, but really we're only talking about how are you when you're your expression of God, right? And you don't have to go find that. It's already there. We're just taking off all the pretend pieces that we may not be aware that we put on and that we think is us, right?
Right.
So someone who really influenced me, so an example of, it's kind of a thread, because we're always thinking, no matter how spiritual we are on earth, there is some element of fear driving whatever we do. And as spiritual folks, sometimes we want to think that we've evolved past that. But the more quote spiritual that you become, I actually don't believe that you become spiritual, but just for the sake of argument, the more spiritual you become, the more aware or conscious you are of what fear is still present. And that's another, you're like, it's the consciousness shines a light on, oh, there's still a piece there that needs to be released. So what am I saying? What does this this has to do with the price of tea in China? What were we talking about? So anyway, so my friend, I know, poor Bren, I make you start crying every time I'm talking to you because I'm so wacko.
No. It reminded me of when you said about the shadow. I remember you saying that, shining the light, and that it reveals, without the light shining, then, these pieces of ourselves that we consider the shadow part of ourselves, we wouldn't be able to see them, and the importance of that. And I just, when I was listening to that, I had a question about whether, because sometimes people have their shadow kind of things that they're a little embarrassed about, but are there things that you found with your clients, like maybe things that could be detrimental to their business, like say like a criminal history,
Sure.
or like multiple divorces or,
Right.
things that, you think, "Oh, I can't be that authentic because then people may not even trust me as a business person." And
Yes.
so, have you found there are things that you're like, yeah, I don't know if I would share that if I were you. That might be one of those.
Well, I do believe there's such a thing as TMI, right? That
Mhm.
there's too much information.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it goes back to, so kind of the guideline, I guess, is who are you when you're fully self-expressed? So for me, so for example, I have no privacy um, options on my Facebook account, and by choice. And so so I'm public, but I've made that choice. And someone else may have, things that they're not necessarily embarrassed about, but they have like kind of a private life. Like their family, they don't want necessarily uh, in the spotlight or whatever their reason is. That doesn't mean they're being inauthentic. That just means that they have different areas of their life that they want, and they're not going to be mad, that someone found out about this other thing. Sometimes they're not hiding anything. You see, the shadow doesn't exist, but we call it the shadow just so that we have a term. The shadow is just things that we think are horrible and bad about us, or that people will judge us if they knew that thing. And there's no thing. I mean, we know, you and I are studiers and practitioners of A Course in Miracles, and so we know that we only use the word sin to, it has nothing. There is no sin. But so that we can talk about that, we need to invent another thing, forgiveness, in order to to get rid of this other thing that's not present. So but so first of all, I mean, so the first, I mean, I'm saying a lot of things, but I think people should, like, in terms of we're business, because I'm in business and you're in business. In terms of business, often your most profitable essence, if you will, I think that's someone else's term, has to do with those shadow pieces, even like maybe you've had multiple divorces, or maybe you've had multiple, maybe you've had multiple bankruptcies. My best spiritual teacher, Joe Nunziata, has had at least two, maybe three bankruptcies by the time he was 30. Now he's not 30, but now, so now, because he's transparent about that, he has credibility with those that need to hear that, right? And so so those things aren't they used to be in his shadow, because he was embarrassed of them. And so the piece, that's the problem. I mean, not to be simplistic, there are things that that if people knew, you will lose credibility with them. But my question is, why are you doing business where these are the people that are embarrassed by? They're not even your market. You're marketing to the wrong people that aren't ever going to hire you anyway. Right? So in terms of business, you have like a problem right now because you think everybody is your client and that you should be marketing to everybody. That's a whole nother issue. and so, if I don't know, some people might say, who are listening to this, is, oh no, I am a registered sex offender.